Chapter 5. The Second Legacy War. Many months have passed, and being a ranger has become part of life. Whether it's dealing with skellies, giving Mordred a kick, or just chilling with his team that are now more like a family. Mark was at home in Cornwall when he got a call from Merlin saying he will be bringing him to the hidden base. In a flash, Mark was standing next to the others in front of Merlin and a familiar person. "Rangers, may I introduce," started Merlin, but the man interrupted him. "Rocky, Blue's Ear Ranger." "We know. Nice to meet you. I'm Artie, English Ranger. Jeff, Welsh Ranger. Sam, Irish Ranger. Scottish Ranger, Jordan. And the guy with his mouth is... Scottish Ranger, Jordan. And the guy with his open mouth is Mark, the Cornish Ranger," she said, as she pointed at Mark. His mouth was indeed open. He had never met another ranger. Hiding in a bush didn't count. And since becoming a ranger, he had learned the history of the rangers. But to meet a legend such as Rocky was almost too much. Yeah, what she said. But why are you here? Yes, to the point. Well, I lead the Council of Rangers ever since we lost the Ultra Rangers. And there's a threat that needs every ranger we can get. Normally, we would wait until you had been a ranger for a year or you taken out your main bad guy. But this is a danger we can't ignore. So, we need you." They all looked at each other and smiled. "Then we are with you," said Mark, shaking his head. "Great. Merv?" "Merv?" they all said, looking at Merlin. "I'll explain later," said Merlin, looking very embarrassed. "Right. Well, if it's okay, I'll teleport them. Instead of you teleporting, it's more accurate." He signalled for all of them to gather around him. Then he pressed his watch, and the base disappeared in a bright light. Then a massive hall came into focus. The hall was full of over 100 other rangers, and all around the walls was photos of every ranger team. And in the centre was 7 pictures, the 6 Ultra Rangers, and a man's head in a blue tube. Zordon. "Incredible," said Jeff, and the others just looked around, mouths wide open. "I'll let you get your bearings. It starts in 15 minutes, said Rocky, and he walked off to talk to 2 other men in military uniforms. They walked around the hall till they found a clear corner to talk. "There must be over 100 rangers in here," said Sam. "Is it me or is it all of them?" said Jordan. "I think so. Look, there's the blue turbo and the rest of the Zeo Rangers," said Mark. "Gold's not there. Look, over there. Is that a bird?" said Jeff. "Yeah, he's the Silver Dino Charge, and I guess the others must be the Dino Charge Rangers. I hear there was a few of them. Oh, look, Dino Thunder." "No Tommy," said Sam. "Well, even if he was here, he would be with the Ultra Rangers," said Artie. "Something I don't get. See, that group over there? I think Wild Force? And that lot there, Lightspeed Rescue," Mark pointed. "What about them?" said Sam. "Well, I thought we were meant to keep our identities secret. How does wearing jackets keep it a secret?" said Mark. "Good question. I got a better one. Is that 4 turtles talking to that woman?" said Jeff. "Yes, it is. They took over from the Mighty Morphin Rangers, a man in a blue and gold top with a S on the chest." "What? You're Daggeron," said Jeff in awe. "Yes, nice to meet you. I hear all about you, said Daggeron. Did they call everyone? Asked Artie. Yes, they did. Every ranger, even the Lost Galaxy Rangers. Look, before they start, I just wanted to come over and... Suddenly, a big cat popped out of a lamp on Daggeron's belt. Hello, hello, hello! Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, said the cat, running around, shaking their hands over and over again. Gingy, calm down or you'll get us thrown out. Sorry, Daggeron. You lot have done a great job fighting Morgana. Keep it up. Now we best go find our seats. Come on, Gingy. Hey, Daggeron, think they could put in a good word for me with Merlin? Said Gingy as they walked away. That's one skitty cat, said Mark. It's starting, Artie noticed, and they found seats at the back. The men in the military uniform that Mark now recognised as Silver Guardian's uniform walked onto the stage. Greeting, Rangers. My name is Wes Collins, Time Force Red, and this is Eric Myers, Quantum Ranger. This council was commissioned 10 years ago, after the Armada's invasion was defeated, thanks to the Ultra Rangers, for bringing us together. So far, there hasn't been a reason to assemble all the Rangers together, even when we lost the Ultra Rangers, said Eric. For that reason, we've called you all here, even inviting new Ranger teams. Mark and the others fidgeted in their chairs. Knew he was talking about them. Behind Eric and Wes, a monitor switched on, and on it was a blue Power Ranger. Less than 24 hours ago, Nephus, the Royal Blue Ranger, entered our dimension. The Time Force Rangers intercepted her, said Wes. Intel says she can absorb the powers and life force of any Ranger she comes into contact with, said Eric. We fought her, but she was too much for us, and she tried to take our powers. Thanks to Eric's intervention, she didn't take all their powers, or their lives, but the strain has left them in a coma. So, how can we stop her? Someone shouted. Mark tried looking over, but couldn't see who spoke. As a team. It was why the Council of Rangers was made. It's why we asked the Royal Britannia Rangers and all of you to help. We can stop her, said Rocky as he walked onto the stage. The plan is this. Close by is a wide open space, no civilians around for hundreds of miles. We can all morph at once. The energy from this will attract her, and as a team, we take her down, said Rocky. As per the terms of which the council was founded on, if we want to back out, you can. No one will blame you. Mark looked at his teammates, Sam and Jordan. Such a brilliant couple when they fight together. It always looks like a dance. Jeff, the Joker, but tough as nails. And Artie, a strong leader and a great friend. They nodded at Mark, and he got up. I can't speak for everyone. For starters, you've all been Rangers far longer than me and my team. But I speak for them. We're with you, and we will do what it takes. Totally, said a turtle with an orange mask. The kid's got guts, said one with a red mask. Then all around the room, the Rangers all stood up, saying, Let's do this, we're ready. Okay, let's head outside. Not too long, all the Rangers stood in the open area, each grouped by their teams. At the front was Eric, Wes, and Rocky. Right, everyone together, said Rocky. It's morphin' time! All around, you could hear everyone calling their morphs. Go, Royal Britannia, Colonel Bisicken! The energy was so bright it could be seen from space as every Ranger morphed at the same time. In no time, a figure stood on the cliff face. Nephus, the Royal Blue Ranger. Now, isn't this nice? You all gathered together for me. Finster 5, let's give this council the pleasure of us destroying them. She pointed her morpher at the ground. An energy beam shot from it and hit the ground, and from it grew monsters, putty patrollers, cogs, many creatures, beasts, and monsters the Rangers knew from their past. Hundreds of them. All the Rangers readied themselves. You know, we could just run, said Jeff. Head back to the UK and... Jeff looked at the others, waiting for the usual, shut up, Jeff, he normally gets. Okay, yeah, sorry, too much. I know what you mean, Jeff. Power weapons, said Mark, pressing his coin 5 times and grabbing the power sword. The others did the same, grabbing a power weapon. You know what they say? Once a ranger? Mark looked at his friends and raised his sword. Then charged. The others followed. All the Rangers began fighting Nephis' army. Explosions, blasters shot past Mark. The others leapt in to help where they could. Mark leapt in to a group of Turtle Rangers. Hey, Brit, one of the Turtle Rangers shouted. Want a lift? Mark ran towards the Turtle Ranger. As they cupped their hands, Mark put one foot on and he lifted Mark high in the air. Mark pulled Saber out and in a flash of red and white light slashed over the advancing monsters. Shell-tastic, said the Turtle Ranger. Then he ran off to help where else he could. Daggeron joined Mark. I didn't think I'd see a walking turtle today, Mark said, taking out 2 approaching putties. Hey, who am I to judge? I walk around with an overexcited cat in a lamp, replied Daggeron. Mark, came a voice Mark recognised as Leonbo. Your friends, they're in trouble. The 3 rushed over to where Leonbo pointed. When they arrived, they saw a horrifying sight. Nephis was absorbing their energy. The team were no longer in their Ranger forms and had their mouths wide open, as if they were screaming, but no sound. Nephis was laughing. No! Mark screamed out of nowhere, pulled a Dino Blaster and fired. Daggeron did the same with his lamp. Nephis dropped the Royal Britannia Rangers with a thud. Gingy, shining attack! Shouted Daggeron, firing on Nephis, knocking her back. Mark dropped beside his team and checked Sam's pulse. There was nothing. She was gone. They all were gone. Inside Mark, a switch flipped. He stood up, sword in hand. It flickered and changed. That same dark energy that engulfed him before did again. The sword of darkness was in his hand. He leapt towards Nephis. I will end you! He screamed and got in multiple blows. Even though Nephis was hurt, she laughed at Mark, then vanished into a portal, and she was gone. Mark stood there, dark energy flowing over him. What happened? Said Wes, who had come over. All of the monsters and creatures had gone. We have to get that sword out of his hand, shouted Leonbo. If he lets go, it will vanish. Right, Daggeron. Wes, distract him. Give me a clean shot, said Eric. With that, the Time Force Red Ranger and the Solaris Knight charged Mark, ducking his attacks. I will destroy you, Mark groaned. Daggeron grabbed one arm and Wes got the other, the sword still firmly in Mark's hand. Now, Eric, now! Quantum Defender, fire! Eric shot the sword right out of his hand and it vanished. The dark energy dissipated from around Mark and he collapsed to the floor, unconscious. Mark woke up many hours later, in the medical bay of the Ranger Council base. A blonde-haired woman walked over. "How are you feeling, Mark?" she said. "Like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards and forwards, I think," said Mark, rubbing his head. "How is he, Dana?" said Wes as he walked in. "Dana? Oh, Pink Lightspeed, of course," said Mark, realising who she was. "He's fine, Wes. BP a little high, but with what he's been through, no wonder," she said. "Is he okay to leave?" asked Wes. "Just take it easy, okay, Mark?" said Dana, more to Mark than Wes. Mark nodded, and he followed Wes out of the med bay. "Where's my team?" Mark asked. "This way. You sure you want to see them?" Mark took a deep breath and nodded. They entered a cold room, and laying on 4 tables were the Royal Britannia Rangers. "I'm so sorry, Mark," said Wes. "Where did she go?" said Mark. "Come with me. I'll tell you all we know." They left and walked to another room. This one had computer consoles and monitors all around. "Welcome to the Dimensional Command Center, or the DCC for short. This is how we found out about Nephis." "Dimensions? Like other Earths?" "Yes. See, some years ago, another Wes came to me. He said he's building a dimensional task force, just in case, and gave us the tech to monitor and go to different dimensions. We set up this command center for just that. We share intel if needed." "So other Earths, dimensions, it's all real? This can help me find Nephis," said Mark. "I think so. You see, each Earth vibrates on a dimensional frequency, and we can track that. But it's like chasing breadcrumbs. You can go to a world she's been to or pass through, but you may be able to catch her. And with our help, if you want to, Mark, it could take years. And from what I found out, time works differently out there. She has to be stopped. She put your team in a coma and killed mine. Who knows what else she'd do? I want to do this. I need to do this," said Mark. Wes picked up a device and passed it to Mark. "This is a dimensional jumper and tracker," said Wes. "One thing before I go. I should stop Morgana Le Fay. She can't be left. We stopped her weeks ago, but Merlin said we shouldn't attack. If one thing this has shown me, she needs to be stopped," Mark said. "You have an idea, I take it?" asked Wes. "Yes. And I need every ranger you can get." Deep in the magical world, Morgana Le Fay sat in her castle, looking at a crystal ball, a dark smile on her face. 4 rangers down. Just the Cornish ranger and that old man Merlin stand between me and ruling the world, she said. "And the other rangers and the power-up the Cornish dragon got?" said Mordred. "The other rangers are insignificant. And as for the dragon power, he can't use it anymore. He needs his team to transform. Without it, he's nothing." "What is that sound?" said Morgana. The door flew 20 feet across the room. Stood in the doorway was the Red Cornish Ranger. "Scullies!" Morgana screamed, and skeleton knights rose out of nowhere. "Attack!" Mark walked forward, the power sword in his hand. As the skellies charged at him, he sliced them down one by one, till all that was left was dust. "Mordred, you idiot boy, do something!" shouted Morgana, fear in her voice. Yes, mother." "Ah!" Mordred charged, his sword above his head. Mark drew his fist back, and before Mordred could strike, punched him in the gut. Mordred dropped to his knees and collapsed on the floor. Mark walked up to Morgana, pointed his sword at her. You can't do anything. You're not strong enough to defeat me. You're nothing without your team. You're on your own, she said, trying not to sound scared. That's where you're wrong, said Mark calmly, pointing his sword at her. I'm strong enough. We took out your staff. Yeah, you have some other powers, but I'm not on my own. At these words, hundreds of rangers teleported in, their weapons drawn and pointed at the witch. Appearing beside Mark was Wes and Eric. Morgana Le Fay, you are under arrest by the authority of the Ranger Council, said Wes. And I think it's a bit late to resist, but if you want to, go right ahead, said Eric. Later that evening, Mark looked up at the sky, standing by Stonehenge, which was located on top of the hidden base the Royal Britannia Rangers worked out of. Wes walked up beside him and said, Nice place. I used to hang out in a dusty clock tower. To be honest, I didn't even know we were here. Merlin used to teleport us in and out, said Mark. Are you ready? Asked Wes. Yeah, I'm ready, said Mark. Okay, here you go. This is the dimension jumper. I've set it to scan for Nephthys' quantum signature. The problem is, it will be hit and miss. You might be chasing her for a while, but you can stay in contact with us. A member of the Ranger Council will be manning the DCC 24/7, said Wes. Cool. Thanks, Wes. I'll bring her here, one way or another. Mark pressed a button and the portal opened. Mark looked back at Wes. Take these. You may find a use for them. Mark handed Wes 4 coins, each with a different symbol on them, the Royal Britannia coins. Good luck, Mark, Wes said. As Mark walked into the portal, it closed. Wes looked back at Stonehenge, then headed back to where Eric was waiting. I will see you again, Mark. Somewhere else, said Merlin. Far across the world, in a hidden cell for villains, sat Morgana Le Fay. Morgana, said a voice. She looked around. Out of the shadows, Nephthys walked. You're the one who rid me of the 4 rangers. How can I ever thank you? Simple. Give me your skellies, and I'll let you out. Morgana smiled.